Turning to the latest on the COVID-19 outbreak and calls for guidance on what in-person learning could look like for Ontario students.
Will masks still be required for schools as case counts decline and vaccination rates rise? CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Colin DeMello joins us now live with more. Colin.
And Zurada, the Chief Medical Officer of Health, says there is still time for the province to make that decision. He says the data is going to drive that decision, and it all is based on the Delta variant. In the meantime, school boards and the opposition are calling on the government to reveal their back-to-school plan. In exactly 7 weeks from today, students across Ontario will return to the classroom after the longest school disruption in the entire country. But many school boards are still waiting to find out exactly what the back-to-school plan will look like.
We would have liked to have back-to-school guidance much sooner than now. Parents are confused. They're looking for this guidance from the Ontario government, and it really needs to come immediately.
The Ford government says the September return will look as normal as possible. Online learning will only be an option. In-class learning, sports, and extracurriculars will be prioritized. But key questions such as class sizes, cohorting, physical distancing, and masking have yet to be answered.
Right now, boards are basing their decisions, and they have for the last few months, on directives that are a year old, many months old, and don't necessarily reflect the reality we're in today.
The province says it is basing its decision on a new report from Sick Kids Hospital and the Ontario Science Advisory Table, which says classrooms should reopen in the fall and only close under catastrophic circumstances. The report also calls for looser physical distancing, cohorting, and masking rules based on the local risk. But Ontario's new Chief Medical Officer of Health says he is following the data.
It's all about how we anticipate September turning out in Ontario and monitoring the data as we move to that date. We still have 6 to 7 weeks to monitor that very, very closely and make appropriate decisions.
Regardless of the province's decision, some school boards say masks will still be a requirement.
When we get to a point where we're at very, very low risk of COVID in our schools and our communities, maybe we could consider lightening some of these sort of safety measures that we have in place. I don't really take it as, well, now they're saying let's open in September without masks.
All to avoid another outbreak and another closure of classrooms. Dr. Kieran Moore also provided a new goal for Ontarians today. He said if 90% of the 12-plus population gets both doses of the COVID-19 vaccine, we could have a post-pandemic life. He says that's coming from recent modeling that shows an endemic stage of the virus could be achieved if we have high vaccination rates by September. Reporting live at Queen's Park, I'm Colin DeMello. Now back to you.